Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Steve at Ontario Telescope. This is Ontario Telescope TV. Welcome to another Saturday. I bet you weren't expecting to see me today because I said I wasn't going to be here, but hey, surprise. I was actually supposed to be in the UK at the International Astronomy Show this weekend representing Starfield, but unfortunately I had to cancel my plans. I was actually scared that I was going to get stuck there. Not that, London's a bad place to get stuck in,
No.
right? Because there's lots to do. I can go see my buddy William. It's the hairline, right? That, it brings us together like brothers. And, but I didn't want to impose, right? Like, how many times can you really knock on the guy's door and say, hey, dude, can I sleep on your couch? I think he got tired of it like the past 3 times. But anyways, yeah, with some of the uncertainty with air travel right now, I didn't want to, take the risk. So I had to cancel my trip. Anyways, I was kind of long-winded. It is Saturday morning. It is gorgeous and sunny outside. There is smoke in the air, though, unfortunately. I haven't been able to see the Big Dipper in like a week.
No, I went
even though it's
outside
been
last
clear.
night and I have smelled smoke.
Oh, it's Tom, the Astro Canuck.
Hello.
Sorry, Tom, I didn't mention you earlier. It's my good buddy Tom. If you know Tom, great. If you don't know Tom, that was weird. If you don't know Tom, that's okay too, because you can check Tom out. He is Tom the Astro Canuck. He streams on Twitch quite regularly. He's there Sunday mornings. That was really weird. Okay, hold on. Let me try something. We are going to turn that off. All right, let's try that out. Okay. Hopefully we're still good. So he streams Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. and does brick building. I don't know if we're allowed to say the name.
Primarily, it is the Lego brand of brick building.
The Lego brand of brick building, yes. And he was streaming last night. He does astrophotography, live astrophotography. It's quite amazing. Check it out. And it's just, total fun. It's an awesome community. And Tom has been selected. This is amazing, right? I feel like I'm in the presence of a celebrity, really. Tom has been selected to sit on a panel with none other than NASA. He's going to be in San Diego next week, sitting on a panel with NASA, advising them on how to land on the moon.
Wait,
That's great. Sorry, that was a different Tom. Talking about science, education, outreach, streaming on Twitch. I'm going to start making things up unless Tom starts correcting me here. Tom, tell us about it. This is super exciting, and I think it's really, really cool. You just did is observe the moon, International Observe the Moon night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what so
tomorrow. Today is International.
It is, yeah, it is today. Yeah. Okay, but you were just sitting. You just did a stream with them the other day.
Yeah,
right,
I
on
got
Thursday.
to sit on a collab. I was co-hosting on NASA's stream on Thursday afternoon, and it was incredible. We had a shed load of people joining in.
A shed load. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That could be a big. Was it a roll-off roof shed?
It should.
It should have been. Yeah. Okay.
But it was a really good time, and I was very honored to be included in that collaboration and to speak about mooning people live on Twitch.
And that's when you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Without it being a college prank and a school bus involved. With you being on a school bus and sticking your... never mind. Okay, so... Family show. No, I think this is super cool that you're doing that. Like when you told me, I was like, no, say that again. And not that I didn't believe you, but it was, just incredible news. So you're going to be there next week. I'm assuming it'll be streamed live on Twitch. It'll be on your channel.
Yeah, we'll be streaming on my channel.
Yep.
There's I think on one of Twitch's official channels as well. That'll be streaming 2:30 p.m. Pacific, so that's 5:30 Eastern time.
So set your calendars. You know what? We're going to send an email out.
Yeah.
We're going to send out an email to everyone. Even if you're not on the list, I know I'm breaking the law here. You're getting it anyways.
Everybody gets an email.
You get an email, yeah. And it will be it'll be awesome. That is really cool, dude. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I truly am. I truly am really happy for you. That all your hard work on Twitch has come to this point, and I'm sure it'll just go up from there. Right? You're a partner level now, right? On Twitch, right?
Correct.
And then ambassador. What's after that? Like.
CEO.
You start calling the shots, right? Well, that's really cool. So I'm really happy for you. But I know we've talked about this. You're looking at getting a new camera, right? And
that is correct.
Because you have the RASA 8 and among other fantastic telescopes like the Starfield Gear 115. And you know what? I should tell you about this. I'm kind of leaking this. Right?
Spicy.
So I know that scope is going to be in some magazine. in the near future, and I heard that the reviewer used it to look at the moon, and wrote back to the middleman that I'm using to talk to the reviewer, and he said that Gear 115 gave him the sharpest view of the moon he had ever seen.
I will concur
in 30 years of doing reviews.
That's amazing.
And I cried. No, I didn't. But it was cool. I was really happy to hear that. So anyways, the Gear 115, amazing scope. But okay, let's go on about we're talking about cameras, right? So you're looking at buying the ASI 2600 MC Duo.
Correct.
Why?
Why? Because I want to try to keep our RASA setup as compact as possible, despite it being a large 8-inch scope, and to have the guiding in line with the same imaging train and not having to add an extra guide scope it makes it almost even more portable.
Yeah.
Because I'm using the Ioptron HAE 29 as well as the Starfield Pier, which everything overall compacts down to a nice small spot in the boot of my car.
And the camera would match the Pier color.
Exactly.
Yes, that's the important part.
Yeah. Always color coordinate.
Always color coordinate. So the nice thing with this is the 2600 Duo. There's an exciting new one that's been released as well, right? We'll talk about it in a second. But this is the Duo. This particular one's the mono, right? The color is out of stock, but we have the mono in stock. And there's a couple things we need to look at with this camera. It's beautiful, isn't it?
That is very nice.
So there you go. You get two sensors. Now this isn't a new concept, right? SBIG, Santa Barbara Imaging Group. They had the integrated guide sensor as well with their cameras. They did it for a long time in older models. ZW has now come out with it because they can now. But it's pretty slick. So that little guide sensor there, that's the equivalent to the ASI 220. So it's a really good guide sensor. It will do well. This is almost the equivalent to like an off-axis guiding solution.
Yeah, I
right?
do have the 220 on the off-axis for the Gear 115.
Yeah, and really that you need at least a 220 camera for off-axis guiding. The 120, not a really good solution. Too small of a chip, won't pick up the guide stars all that well. The 220 is a little bit larger, bigger pixels, do a good job. But with this, now it's built in. So in Tom's case, using the RASA, right, he doesn't need to have the guide scope on the setup, right? And it'll just sit right up top. And this will work. Less wires. Yeah, less wires. Just one connection. You have power and USB, and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. Not only on a RASA 8 and 11 or the 14, right?
Yeah.
Right. That big monster of a scope. I've seen it. It's huge.
We need a bigger mount.
Need a bigger mount. We're gonna need a bigger mount.
Bigger mount.
Yeah.
Acceptable.
What movie is that from? We're gonna need a bigger boat. Jaws. That. Okay. Yeah. You're gonna need a bigger mount. That's awesome. I'm gonna use that in an email campaign.
Good.
Yeah. And then Steven Spielberg is probably gonna. No, George Lucas. Steven Spielberg. Spielberg will probably sue me, but then I'll tell him, hey, we're both Steves, the brotherhood of Steve. So it's gotten me out of trouble once before. So now we're guiding at the same focal length. RASA's, all right, the 3 different sizes, and also the Hyperstar. So if you have a Hyperstar, but here's where it gets tricky. And I made this mistake last week, guys. I completely forgot about it. The opening on this is larger than what you have on a 2600. The regular 2600 or the 294, the 1600 or the 183, they're all an M42 thread because that's really all it needs. The larger full frame cameras are bigger, and I forgot that this has a larger one as well, so it's an M54. So if you're going to go with this camera, right, and it's not a bad option to do, if you go with this camera, you have to keep in mind that this is an M54 opening. So if you have a Hyperstar already, then you're going to have to get the adapter on your Hyperstar changed to M54, or if you're buying a Hyperstar, you're going to need it with the M54 opening, and that will or thread, so you can put that on, and then you should be able to get there. What they haven't done yet, right, which I'm surprised they haven't done yet, and this information is wrong on the ZW website, and I hope they're watching and they can fix this. If you scroll down on the ZW website for this camera, it shows you how to connect the camera lens to it. It's wrong. It doesn't work. Really? They do not have a solution for it that's reliable. It's not there, and that came from their tech support. They're coming out with an adapter apparently eventually sometime, but putting a camera lens on this just isn't there yet. Now, if I'm wrong and somebody's done it, please let me know, because I went through this with another customer and we couldn't get it to reliably go without the sensor being somewhat blocked. So please let me know if I'm wrong. Just don't flame me in the comments. Just send me a message, right? And then I'll admit to it next week. Only if someone proves me wrong. Anyways, yeah. So we have to keep in mind this is an M54 opening. So what that might mean, right? Especially like I'm thinking like in the case of the RASA 8, right? The RASA 8 has a really small back focus requirement or limitation, we should say, because it's pretty tight. It's like 25 and a half millimeters, 25.8, very specific. So you might need to get creative. There are M54 and M48 reducers you can put here. We do have some solutions for that. But you just have to keep that in mind, that this does need to be reduced down, and just as long as you're not cutting out that guide sensor, you should be fine. Now this should work on it. No, it should work. It will work on any other scope as well, providing that this is there. Where you might have some trouble, I feel, is you start getting into some of the smaller SCTs, like an 8-inch edge only produces a 42 millimeter image circle, if not smaller. So that might be too tight for it and won't work with it. So these are some things you have to keep in mind. If you have trouble with it, always like just message Tom.
What?
Send us a message, give us a call, and we can help you out, get the proper adapter. We'll do some of the calculations for you, really show you how to do those calculations. So, when you're setting this all up, you get an idea of what you need, and we can help finalize that for you. I should go into this a little bit more. I got this little dial up here. This is not volume. This is your focus for the guide scope. So you do need to muck around with this a little bit, get yourself in focus, leave it. The one thing I don't like, it doesn't have a lock.
I was going to question about that, because it's one of those things where you'll have like your focus, if you have your EAF, to focus everything, but you still need to twiddle
this. But really, once you get into focus once, you shouldn't have to adjust it, but it's probably a good idea to check it every time anyways, because if you have an aluminum based OTA, right, just a change in temperature is going to cause that expansion and contraction. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. The one thing I'm still not 100% on, Nova's been able to give me a real good straight answer, because I hear things from both sides of the fence. I haven't really had anyone call me up and say, hey, this is how it works. Especially on a color camera, is if you're using like an L Extreme filter, like a really tight narrow band filter, like a 3 nanometer filter or something like that, how that'll affect the guiding. Now, maybe, I'm not sure, I haven't used this camera yet myself, but maybe you can adjust the gain on that camera separately. How that'll affect the guiding, I'm not 100% sure, but that's a concern that I've always had with these cameras, and how the guiding will be affected by those types of filters. But I guess time will tell, right?
Yeah, I mean,
people are buying them. No one's wanting to return it, so
yeah, it's hard to get a hold of them.
Yeah. So I did mention that there's another camera.
Yeah. What's the other camera?
The 2600 ASI Air. Or ASI 2600 MC Air. There, that's it. No.
Yeah.
Get the eyebrow in there. Same camera. Actually, I think it's a little bit larger, a little bit longer. I saw this at NEAF. Did you see that at NEAF?
I saw it at NEAF.
You saw it at NEAF. Yeah, really cool.
Doesn't it start off as an April Fool's joke?
Yeah, it did.
It was.
Yeah.
It was an April Fool's thing. It's like, oh, this would be fantastic if they can make it. They're not going to be able to make it.
Yeah. They don't know how April Fool's works.
If anything, they did it really well.
But they did do it really well. So it looks really slick. We have them coming. Yeah, they're limited though.
It looks very cool. It looks like, for what you want to do, to try to keep as compact of a setup as possible.
Yeah.
Like, even more so. It seems phenomenal.
Yeah. No, what they did do that I really like with it too is they got rid of this big clunky USB 3 port on the back. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I was looking at that.
It's the USB-C connection, and then you have the antenna coming up. What I do know, but I'm not sold on yet, is it doesn't have a hardwire connection to it for a network.
So, no, it is all wireless.
Yeah, so which is fine, right? But with my ASI Air and my observatory, I plug it into the network just so I can get it into my network in my house. So I guess I'm the exception. I could put a wireless router out there if I wanted to. That would work.
Yeah, to relay it. It probably would work like that. That's the one thing that was kind of slowing me down on being 100% yes on the Air Duo.
Yeah,
was just no network connection. But I can understand, like, there's a lot to cram in there. and then throwing in the Ethernet port.
Yeah,
It's-
I know. I'm probably asking for a lot.
You would probably be able to be like a little longer as well. How
Yeah,
much
maybe
more weight,
put
how
the
much
top.
more tilt you're gonna be
Yeah.
experiencing.
But I think it opens up a lot of possibilities. For some reason, it's the same price as this.
That's what I was wondering. I even asked you about that.
Yeah, and I can't get. I asked, and they said, yeah. I said, okay. Sometimes you don't argue, but I thought that was interesting. So really, all you have to do is provide power to it. And that would be really cool if they came out with a battery version. Yeah, I know. I'm asking a lot again there too. Right? I thought solar power, but then
Eliminate as many wires as possible.
yeah, but it's really cool. You only have the one cable going to it. So again, if you're using it on a Rasa,
Yep.
right, or a Hyperstar, that's all you're going to have. Just that's it. You don't have to do anything else, right? Because the ASI is built in, right? And a lot of mounts have Wi-Fi on them. Yeah, our Opera mount has Wi-Fi.
Yep. I still haven't actually enabled that yet. I haven't tried
Yeah,
that out.
you can control your mount through Wi-Fi. I started doing that more and more. I kind of like it because the latency on a wireless signal is a lot lower, considerably lower, compared to latency on a USB cable. And you can't snag a wireless cable.
I mean, some people probably could, but that's
Yeah, I used to work with some of those people. I can say that now. It's been 3 years.
You passed the embargo. It's fine.
Probably not, but who cares? I can tell. Never mind. It's a family show. But yeah, and I think it's a really cool concept, really cool idea. I actually just bought a Raspberry Pi 5
Really.
that I was planning to do some Stellar Mate stuff with. Again, because they're it doesn't do this here. Well, not this one anyways, but ASI Air or the 2600 MC Air doesn't do it yet. I'm sure they'll probably come out with it now that the underlying software works with it. Stellar Mate Ecos,
Yeah.
K-Stars Ecos supports dual camera control, which I think is amazing, right? That you can have two cameras going at the same, like controlled off the one device. Which this is not anything new. We like Nina can do it, SGB can do it. You can run two instances, but Ecos can now operate two cameras at the same time. What I haven't tried yet is if we can do two cameras, two different objects at the same time. That means two different mounts. So I'm in this dual camera, dual setup kick right now.
Yeah.
To try it out, but we'll get to that after. But yeah, so I got a Raspberry Pi to try it out, but pretty cool. All right. Some comments here. Let's see. Lots of good mornings. I guess Sky should, a shed load of people. Makes sense. All right. And if you need to air, just roll off roof. No problem. We'll talk to Wayne about that. Might be a new marketing thing. First reference, Oprah reference on a channel. Yeah, because you guys, everyone. Lawsuit. Yep, lawsuit. Okay, Alan, our good friend Alan, right? If you don't know Alan Dyer, you should. Alan writes for Sky News. Well, he did write for Sky News. He writes articles for Sky Intel. He has some fantastic books out there. If you want to capture an eclipse on the next one, make sure you check out his material because he's the authority when it comes to it. The last eclipse, he left home in Alberta, started driving down into the U.S. I think made it like 2 or 3 states.
Yeah.
Alan, correct me on this. And then decided, nope, that's not going to work, and drove back up and drove like halfway through Canada and through Ontario up into Quebec and caught the eclipse, which I thought was amazing. That's like the ultimate road trip for an eclipse. I'm sure there might be longer ones, but it was great because you got to follow Alan along on his Facebook posts to see which beer he was drinking. I'm waiting for that book of Beers of Astronomy, Alan. Right, that's going to be the next book. I will prominently display that in my display case.
That'd be
Right,
cool.
when you publish that book, The Beers of Astronomy. So we're waiting for that. Greg almost choked on the cord. He almost choked himself on their cordless phone. That's a gift. All right. Good morning, Tammy. And yes, Alan is fantastic. Do you know Tammy Foley?
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Yeah. All right, Tammy. The images you're putting out are awesome. Right, so we want to see more, and we're going to see it at Starfest next year. You promised. Okay, Alan got to Great Falls, Montana, then turned back north of Saskatchewan, headed east in Quebec. How many kilometers did you put on your car during that trip. It must have been a couple of thousand at least.
That's
least.
incredible.
Yeah.
I did a road trip last
like
October, and I did about a little over 10,000 kilometers.
I remember. Well, we just missed each other in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were in Vegas for TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Right, and I went to Vegas to go see you too, and which was amazing. And at the Sphere, if you get a chance to ever go to the Sphere, go. You know, they should turn that into a planetarium night.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I would inside and outside.
Ooh, I forgot about the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great. Okay.
More astronomy for everybody.
More astronomy for everybody. You should be streaming Twitch from the Sphere.
Twitch from this Sphere.
Actually, all right, you heard it here first. TwitchCon Vegas next year at the Sphere. That's where they should do it. 9,000 kilometers. Wow.
Well worth it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well worth it. Yeah. Oh, then that was my first total solar eclipse, and I heard music when the eclipse happened. I don't know about anyone else, but everything stopped, right? And I heard music. I can't describe the music, but I just know I heard music, and it wasn't somebody's radio, right? It was amazing, right?
I was in awe.
You were in awe, yeah.
It was an emotional moment after totality. And to share it with so many people in a public setting as well, where I rocked up at 7 a.m. thinking that it's going to be packed, and there was one other person sitting up there. So I got everything together, and eventually, by the time it was time for the eclipse, there was about maybe 300 people on the beach in Magog, Quebec.
Wow,
it was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, we went to a small little town. I don't even remember what it's called. South of Dutton, which is a small town as well. Not named after John Dutton. I think this Dutton was before that Dutton, and just southwest of London, and yeah, it was amazing. And then I was
That's awesome.
I was cold that day too.
I was prepared. I wore my hoodie.
Yeah,
at the annular eclipse, it even got really cold.
I did not.
You'd be ready for the next one.
I survived.
2026.
Yeah, I'm going to Iceland for that one. I'm planning to sit in a hot spring, right, in Iceland as that eclipse happens. And everyone's saying it's going to be cloudy in Iceland. Haters are going to hate. Okay. Anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up right there. So if you look really quickly, actually no, Alan said something.
You mentioned about the nanometer, the 3 nanometer.
Okay, yeah. So Alan says, right, I think users will find the built-in guider does not work well with very narrow filters like the 3 in the 3 nanometer range. And that was always my suspicion too. It doesn't seem.
Because even for
doesn't
doing,
seem like it would work
even for
well.
doing like the autofocus, it's like 10-second images. That
Yeah.
And you're not going to be doing 10-second guiding.
Well, you could.
I do like 2, 3 at most.
I tell you what my new mount.
No.
Well, new to me. I got a Mach 1. Right, astrophysics Mach 1. It's a long story. It's an amazing mount. Alan, I think you have a Mach 1 too. I see you with it also. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was supposed to be cloudy in April as well, but it wasn't. And the guide scope on my system is now officially decoration.
Nice.
That guide graph is just a straight line. I could print that guide graph out, blow it up, and use it as a straight edge for reference.
Excellent.
Anyways, yeah, getting back to 3 nanometer filters, I agree. I think that would be a problem as well for some of these. I think some of the dual band filters would be a problem for it as well, for this camera as well. I really should try one out for myself eventually and check it out, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm still using my Starlight Express CCD camera, which I just can't let go of. It works really well, but yeah, I think you have a full day ahead of you. You have to get going. You said, right? No, you didn't. You didn't say that, but I don't want to keep you. I don't want to make you late for anything. I'm not trying to kick you out.
It's hard to leave. You walk in and there's a whole whack of toys to look at.
Not really. It's empty right now.
Pretend when you see it full.
Yeah, we have some new stuff coming. Yeah. Anyways, this was great. Yeah, Greg, you're right. Great video this morning. Thanks so much. It was a lot. This was great. This was a lot of fun. Who thinks that Tom should be a regular? Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's always fun. It's always a good time here.
Yeah, always a good time. All right. We'll talk to you next Saturday for sure, and maybe Tom will be here.
I got to be in Twitch. I'm in San Diego.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe what we'll do is it's 3 hour difference. It's 7 or what time does the thing start over there?
The panel starts at 2:30.
2:30. It's plenty of time. So I'm gonna call Tom at 7 a.m. because it's 3 hour difference, right? I'm gonna wake him up from the night of partying he did the night before. And really, if he's asleep from all that partying, that's a shame. It shows he's getting old because he shouldn't have even gone to bed yet, right? And then we'll pull him live. We'll have him in the little corner down here, wherever, right? He'll be part of the broadcast. That's what we're going to do. If anyone disagrees with that, then just keep it to yourself. If you want to see Tom on next week from San Diego before TwitchCon, right? Then let Tom know, right? Like spam his Facebook page, share his Facebook page. But look for the email that we're going to send out to remind everybody that next week 2:30 Pacific. 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 our time, Eastern. Tom will be on a panel with NASA, right, to tell them how to land on the moon. And we look like a ZZ Top tribute band. You know what? That. Thank you, Alan. I really appreciate that. I collect guitars. I can't play. I can play 2 chords. So now I have to go get a Gibson Les Paul. You have now just validated my reasoning to get a Gibson Les Paul.
There we go.
And maybe an SG.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you. Right. And if my wife gets mad at me, she won't. But if she does, I'm gonna give her your phone number, and you'll defend me. No, good. Thanks. I love that. That's great. The beards of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. It's fun. Okay. Anyways, clear skies, everyone. Hopefully it'll be smoke free soon. But clear skies, and we'll see you all next week, Saturday. All the best.